Okay. I do realize what the date is today. This video is extremely overdue, but better late than never, right? Alright. So it's official. Once again, at Wrestlemania, it's The Rock versus John Cena. But this time, it's for the WWE Championship. Even though this might not be my ideal main event for WrestleMania, at the same time I can understand WWE's reasoning for why they would have The Rock and John Cena have a WrestleMania rematch. Because after all, WrestleMania is the grandest stage of them all, or it is dubbed that way. And especially since this is the biggest event for this company, they'll want to draw in as much viewers and get as good buy rates as possible. And what better way is to feature two of your top stars in the main event, who happen to be The Rock and, unfortunately, John Cena. The build up to this match, for the most part, was pretty lackluster. Now, I know The Rock has been mostly absent from Monday Night Raw lately, but you gotta understand, he's also a movie star, and G.I. Joe was coming out that month, and he had to attend those other media outlets promoting the hell out of G.I. Joe. Although from what I've heard, at least even though while he was attending the media events, he was making an effort to say that he does have a match at WrestleMania and he is WWE Champion, so even though he wasn't attending Raw, he was still putting somewhat of an effort to hype up WrestleMania, so it would have been better if he was on Raw, but I don't know what else to say about it. Now, because The Rock was mostly absent, it was kind of hard to heat things up between The Rock and John Cena to get us fully invested into this match. And they had to rely on another source material to get us hyped up for this match. And what did they do? Video packages. Now, I don't mind using video packages to hype up for a pay-per-view match, but that is if it's a well done video package. However, that's not the case with the Rock John Cena WrestleMania rematch. It was, what did they do? The same material from last year. And I don't know about you guys, but that didn't get me excited. It didn't. Alright. I will give them credit. At least things started to heat up from last week's episode of Raw, but is it a little too late at this point? Yeah, it got me a little bit excited, but I'm not fully invested into the matchup. I will say, at least this time around, there's a story behind it. There's a story behind this matchup. Whereas last year, this was the match's premise. I'm a big name star, or I was a big, okay, technically he still is, but I'm a big name star, you're a big name star, I never faced you before, I want it to happen. They want to see it. Let's have a matchup. Cena agrees. And they have a whole year to build up towards their matchup at WrestleMania 28. Their matchup last year was pretty good. Although it could have been better. And now I will be honest with you. When I was watching WrestleMania with my best friend and my other best friend who is now my boyfriend, we were watching that matchup. And we were both getting into it, especially my best friend, because he's never watched wrestling until I showed him a certain matchup from Money in the Bank 2011, which he also enjoyed, by the way. After the matchup, they both liked it. They said, my boyfriend and my best friend said they were pretty good. They were both pretty good. Me, on the other hand, I said it was good, but it could have been better. And they're just looking at me like, what? He's like, it could have been better. Especially since they had a whole year to build it up. Well, actually, I shouldn't take blame in the build up, but I don't know how to explain it, but it just could have been better, and hopefully their match tops it. Okay. Alright, now getting to this year's matchup. This is the story. John Cena lost to The Rock last year, and ever since then John Cena has been on a downward spiral. Mostly losing matches, and he was rarely in the main event. Well, not main event, he was still main eventing. He was rarely in the title picture. And now John Cena feels that he has to redeem himself and make up for that loss by defeating The Rock and once again becoming our WWE champion. Now let me be clear. I have no issue with The Rock versus John Cena, their matchup, even though they did dub it last year as once in a lifetime, meaning that we'd never see this matchup again, but it's the WWE. They'll do whatever the hell they want, whether we like it or not. Not the matchup I have the issue with. It's what the most likely outcome will be. And this is where the rant comes in. It says John Cena last year went on this downward spiral. Something tells me that this year's WrestleMania, they're once again going to put the WWE title back on John Cena. And I'm guessing this is WWE's mentality. They know. Because right after WrestleMania, ratings usually start to go down to tank. And what's their most likely solution that they always come up with to make sure ratings continue to stay afloat? Put the title on John Cena. Because why? Because he sells the most merchandise. He brings in the ratings. He brings in the crowds, the fans, and a bunch of other stuff that brings in money for them. And that's what I don't get. Okay? John Cena's not going to be there forever, okay? There's going to be a time when John Cena leaves, and that company is going to be so fucked because they resorted all their time to John Cena that when he leaves they're going to be scrambling around to build up new stars, which they should be doing right now. Because the only two people they have right now that can fill in that void if, say, John Cena were to leave, hypothetically speaking, 4 months from now, is Randy Orton, and some people can argue, and I can't believe I'm saying this myself, but CM Punk. Those are the only two big name main eventers. Or, okay, some can argue that CM Punk may be still maybe a mid-carder, but that's it. Okay? And another thing is, these constant title reigns from John Cena. He's the top guy. He's already at the top. He doesn't need another title reign. What does that do for John Cena? Nothing. Because he's been WWE champion multiple times. He doesn't need it anymore. And it gets worse. It gets worse. The minute they decide to give that title on John Cena, not only is he going to be champion, but he is going to keep on main eventing pay-per-view after pay-per-view, Monday Night Raw after Monday Night Raw, until they finally decided to drop it to whomever, and whoever they may be, whoever that might be. And guess what happens? Whoever they have John Cena drop it to, guess what? How long they're gonna hold that for? Not that long, because they'll probably put it back on John Cena like they always do. Okay. And I don't know about you guys, but I am so freaking sick and tired of John Cena having these multiple title reigns, main eventing pay-per-view after pay-per-view. It's just, okay, I get it. The casual fans may like it, and the John Cena fans may like it. That's cool, okay? You like John Cena. I get it. We're all entitled to like whoever we like, and to cheer and boo-hoo whomever we want. But John Cena doesn't always have to be in the main event. And oh god, I also forgot to mention this. When John Cena's champion, that means more promo time and more screen time for him. Just this non-stop John Cena being shoved in her faces and cramped down her throats. Okay. At one point, I used to like John Cena, okay? I will admit that. I used to like John Cena at one point, but it's just that John Cena does the same old tiresome shit, okay? Like these hokey, cheesy ass jokes. Okay, yeah, I get it. The kids might find it funny, but most adults don't, okay? And sometimes John Cena tries way too hard to be funny, okay? It's just, I'm getting tired of it, okay? I'm getting tired of it, okay? I know a lot of us internet fans are saying this, but it's the truth. John Cena doesn't need any more title reigns. He doesn't have to main event every fucking pay-per-view, okay? Okay. If they do decide to have The Rock drop the title to John Cena, I will give it a chance. I will watch it in the I'll continue to watch it, and depending on how well it goes, I might take a break from Monday Night Raw. This wouldn't be the first time I did it. Yeah, because I took a month off watching Monday Night Raw throughout the last half of November through December last year. Okay? And don't get me started on SmackDown, because I haven't seen an episode of SmackDown since my birthday since last year on my birthday. I know it's weird because my birthday was on a Sunday, but my mom recorded Raw, and I mean not Raw, SmackDown, and I decided to watch it then. But anyway, back to the point. Okay. And another thing is, I just realized this. If they were to have John Cena beat The Rock at WrestleMania, this would be one of the worst. This would give The Rock one of his worst title reigns. Okay. And not only that, it would make... And actually, come to think of it, if they do put the title back on John Cena, that makes The Rock look like a transitional champion. Because, think about it. It's like, they had The Rock beat CM Punk at the Royal Rumble just so that John Cena can get yet another big win at WrestleMania, because yeah, that's what he needs, another big win at WrestleMania, and get another title reign, which will probably last practically, I don't know, 5 or 6 months, where he's constantly main eventing each episode of Monday Night Raw and every freaking pay-per-view until they decide that until they have him drop the title. Okay. Who knows? Maybe they might not have John Cena dropped. Who knows? Maybe they might not have John Cena win the title at WrestleMania. They're probably going to wait until Extreme Rules to do so. But I don't know. I'm just hoping. Okay? But even though, that's not going to stop us from getting yet another John Cena title reign. Which at this point is just getting ridiculous. Okay? I'm just hoping that this year they actually start to build up their younger superstars as potential main eventers, because as I stated earlier, John Cena is not going to be there forever, okay? And there will be a time when he does decide that he's had enough and he fully retires for good. Okay. Hopefully, Rock versus John Cena, their WrestleMania rematch, will be better than their match at last year's, but this is probably just wishful thinking, and maybe this episode of Monday Night Raw, things actually start to really heat up and shit gets real. Because other than that, I'm not really looking forward to their WrestleMania match. However, there are other WrestleMania matches that I am looking forward to, and I will talk about that match at a later time. So that's pretty much it for tonight. Later, marks.